Let's get into it. I like that I'm wearing my George Orwell shirt right now because Tucker Carlson is about to handle some business. I mean, he goes, this is Tucker in like Candace Owens mode, what you're about to see. He goes hard on this one reporter. Now, just to preface it, he's in Australia. He's doing one, the tours that he does. He does a speech. He does some Q&A. But in this one, it seems that there's a lot of reporters. Usually, it's a lot of people who are just fans of his. But in Australia, for some reason, there's a bunch of reporters. And one reporter tries to do this gotcha type of style with him. I don't just want you to just have fun watching Tucker just tear this person down. Listen to the way she is trying to pin him throughout this interaction that they have. It is so silly. Not to mention, real quick, little interesting that Tucker's in Australia just as Julian Assange touches down in Australia for the first time in 15 years. Hopefully, we'll see an interview with the two, but Julian might want to just relax for a little while, but we'll see. I just find it very interesting. At the very least, they've probably met up or something like that. Anyways, let's get into this clip right here. Tucker Carlson in just smash mode. Let's go.
But I don't think any country should put up with that. Now, you can't have soldiers in my country. Go away. You know what I mean? Like, we can be friends, but having troops on my soil suggests not a friendship, but a master-slave relationship. And I'm just not into it at all. And I don't think you should be into it either.
Thanks, Tucker. One final question from the press gallery. Kat Wong from AAP.
Hi, Tucker. Thank you so much for your address today. So you talked a little bit about immigration, and in the past you've talked about how white Australians, Americans, Europeans are being replaced by non-white immigrants in what is often referred to as the Great Replacement Theory. This is the same...
Have I said that whites are being replaced?
Well...
I don't think I said that.
Well, it's been mentioned on your show 4,000 times. And
really, when did I say that?
On your show.
I said whites are being replaced?
You have said that before.
Really?
Yeah.
I would challenge you to cite that, because I'm pretty sure I haven't said that. I said native-born Americans are being replaced, including blacks.
Native-born Americans.
Native-born Americans.
And
Americans black Americans have been, African Americans have been in the United States for, in many cases, their families over 400 years. And their concerns are every bit as real and valid and alive to me as the concerns of white people whose families have been there 400 years. So I've never said that whites are being replaced. Not one time. And you can't cite it.
Untrue.
So we just met, but when our relationship starts with a lie, it makes it tough to be friends. So
you've been lying
let's
about
pull
my
that back. I'm
press
happy to
colleagues all
explain what I
morning
do
as well,
think.
so,
Well, you actually can't say it because I didn't say it, and I don't believe it. And I'm telling you that to your face, so why don't you just accept me at face value? My concern is that the people who are born in the country are the main responsibility of its leaders. And as noted earlier, when those leaders shift their concern from the people whose responsibility it is to take care of to people around the world to put their priorities above that of their own citizens, that's immoral. And they are being replaced in my country, people who are born in the United States. And the birth rate tells the whole story. They are not at replacement rate. And so the U.S. population is growing because we're importing people from other countries. And my view is that happy people have children, and a functioning economy allows them to do that. And we don't have that. And so you need to fix the economy and fix the culture and make it so that people who want to have kids can. You don't just go for the quick sugar fix of importing new people. Like, that's my position. And if you think that's racist, that's your problem.
I never called you a racist.
But of course you are suggesting, and
Well,
I must say one of the reasons people don't like people like you in the media is that you never say exactly what you mean. Your slurs are all by implication, and you're about to tell me the Great Replacement Theory is racist or anti-Semitic, whatever. I've said what I've said to you right now like 100 times in public. I hope to, if I live long enough, say it 100 more times. I think it's completely honest and real, not racist or scary. It's factually true. It's not a theory, it's a fact. And the whole point of your question was to be like, you're a scary racist.
Well, I haven't
And
actually
my
finished my
response is, no,
question.
I'm not. Okay, well, how about no more lying in your questions, and then I'll answer it.
Okay, well, this is the same theory, or as you say, idea, that has inspired the New York Buffalo shooting where 11 black Americans were killed.
Come on.
2
You know
white
what I mean?
Americans were killed.
Like,
and it's also
okay,
inspired...
it's not, first of all...
It's inspired one of the worst Australian guns
How do
of
they
all
get
time
people
to
this
shoot
stupid in the media? I guess it doesn't pay well. Look, I'm sorry. I've lived among people like you for too long, and I don't mean to call you stupid. Maybe you're just pretending to be, but I'm totally against violence. I'm totally against the war in Ukraine, for example, which doubtless you support. And like all dutiful liberals, support more carnage. I don't. I hate mass shootings, actually. Nothing I said, what does it mean to inspire something? My views are not bigoted against any group. They're honest, they're factual. That's not hate, that's reality. And my views derive from my deep concern for Americans, actually. Americans aren't having kids because they can't afford to. And nobody in charge cares. And so that's my position. That doesn't inspire mass shootings. How dare you try to tie me to some lunatic who murdered people? How dare you, actually? And in fact, I mean, do you know what I mean? I'd be like, Hitler wore those shoes. A lot of people are saying that you're like Hitler. Can you explain those shoes? Hitler wore exactly the same shoes, and you're like, I've got nothing to do with Hitler. Well, that's how I feel about your absurd, disingenuous question.
Right, so therefore you support gun control?
What? I thought it couldn't get dumber, but it did. No, I don't support disarming law-abiding people so they can't defend themselves. So the government has a monopoly on violence? I don't think so. First of all, in my country, that's illegal, as you know. But moreover, it should be illegal in every country. A sovereign person has the right to defend himself and his family. Period. And that said, I'm totally opposed to harming anyone. Have you been are you concerned about the war in Ukraine? And the countless innocents being murdered there every single day? I doubt you are. Probably Putin bad. I am. I'm a Christian. I hate violence. I hate mass shootings. I have guns at home and often on my person when I'm in the United States, I'm proud to say, because I want to defend myself and those I love against violence. That's the point. I'm not perpetrating crimes. I'm not shooting strangers. I'm defending what I love. And if you're against that, I guess I would ask why. Why would you be against that?
Well, so you don't think you harbor any kind of responsibility for these hate crimes?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to be charitable. I was like, maybe you're just pretending to be dumb. Now I don't think it's an act.
Tucker, thank you for taking those questions. I'm sure you enjoyed some
Actually, I
questions from the
loved it. I
press.
just feel sorry. I mean, because I got here and the country's so unbelievably beautiful and the people are so cheerful and funny and cool and smart. I'm like, your media's got to be better than ours. It can't just be a bunch of castrated robots reading questions from the boss. And then it turns out it's exactly the same, maybe even a tiny bit dumber.
Oh, man. That was absolutely wild. Let me just break down, okay? I'm sure you guys all heard it, but just break down. It went from replacement theory to touching on racism to touching on mass shootings and his theory, his replacement theory, which is not even his theory, being inspiring mass shootings. Then it jumps to gun control. Then it jumps to responsibility for hate crimes. Holy wow. And I have to say, he was very charitable. That was and the thing is, funny enough, he mentions, such a nice place. The media has to be better than ours. No. And he's even talked to two people who talked about this. Glenn Greenwald, Neil Oliver. They were talking about this. It's not a coincidence that people who are left-leaning, Democrats, the liberals of the world, the wokeness of the world is all moving together. So that's politics and, as we can see, media. They operate the exact same. They're talking about the same things. They are trying to demonize the same people. They are trying to they're pushing their ideology all the same way. It's very much all in sync. Very, very much so. Oh, wow. Just so funny. But just to speak to replacement theory and what she was talking about, I when I first heard this, I was like, maybe it's because she's in Australia and she's white and a lot of Australians are white. But then when I saw her, she's actually I'm guessing, Chinese descent. Her name's Wong. Her last name's Wong. So even she understands that you can be in a place like Australia and you don't necessarily have to be white. You could be in America and obviously you can be an American and not necessarily be white. You know, the core people of America arguably are white and black. White and black. And like Tucker Carlson said, there are black people, Atlanta, South, even people in New York, because a lot of them went from the South, migrated over and, you know, back and forth and everything. And their families have been in America for 400, 500 years, like since the beginning. So for her to have that mindset towards replacement theory is so silly. And in actuality, if she actually took any stock into what's going on in America, she would understand that replacement theory is hitting black communities way harder. Way hard. Not only are they a smaller percent of the population, all of the illegal immigrants are being brought into their communities. And it's not just their communities, but a large part. We're seeing it in New York. The people who are most affected are African Americans and the Latinos, but a lot of the hood, a lot of the urban areas are being affected the most. Seeing the same thing in Chicago, seeing the same thing in California. People who live at the top of Beverly Hills, you know, let's face it, it's not much of a mixed bag up there. They're not being affected as much. People who are at the highest levels of, you know, wealth in Chicago and New York, and they're not being affected as much, nearly. Which is why in the Trump case, they made sure that the whole jury was from Manhattan, because then there was a good chance they'd all be left-leaning. If they're all from the Bronx, it'd be a very much mixed bag, and a lot of those people probably wouldn't have found Trump guilty. That's aside from the point, but I'm just saying it's been hitting the black community way harder, because when those people come in, when these illegal immigrants come in, and if they can get jobs, you know, because a lot of people have been working against that. They don't want to see that happen because black people are waking up and they're like, they're going to take our jobs. Obviously, they're not going to go to the office building and work with market accounting as soon as they get to the country. That's not how it works. They're going to work these remedial jobs. They're going to jump into our positions. You know, Latino and black people are realizing that big time. So they're getting hit the worst more than anybody right now, which is, you know, gift and a curse, because that's actually what's making a lot of African Americans wake up. I don't even like African American. Black Americans wake up, you know? So if she even took any research in to even talk about this, she would understand that. And also, I'll just touch on this really quick. Tucker Carlson and Jimmy Dore did an interview, and they played a clip where there was someone, I'm not sure what position he was. I haven't listened to the clip in a long time, but he was talking about how he's talking about how recruitment is so low in the Army and getting lower in the police force that he wants the illegal immigrants that are coming in to serve the country for citizenship, to be police officers for citizenship. That is replacement theory right there. Replacement theory is not just they're going to take our jobs, they're going to replace us. It's not just that. It's the values, the morals, the foundational thought process of how the society works gets replaced with, you know, X country that is communist. 10 million come in. All of a sudden, in that society, there are a bunch of people who are kind of okay with communism. If they're not okay with it, they're at least used to it a little bit. And then all of a sudden, the values start to change at the core level. You know, you want people to assimilate, which is why everybody has such a problem with so many people coming in. But yeah, just really funny the way she stepped into that. Tucker Carlson was very much supported. A lot of people, you'll hear a lot of people probably saying that he wasn't supported. You can check this out real quick. One of the fans just made sure to show how supported he was. That is a big venue. For a guy who's a journalist, that is a big venue. Obviously, he's alongside someone else as well, but still, for all those people to come out and want to see Tucker Carlson, you know, that's pretty wild. Well, I mean, just looking at that, we're talking at least 15,000 people right there. That's incredible, man. I mean, this guy's doing Rogan. This guy's doing Chappelle level stadiums here. Like, that's amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. So he was very much supported, but there were people here and there. There was a protester who came to protest Tucker Carlson, and you can see how Tucker Carlson felt about that. Laughing hysterically. This one man came to protest because of Tucker Carlson's opinion on the Ukraine-Russia war. He didn't like Tucker's position, so he came to protest. Very interesting stuff. But as you saw, most people were in support of Tucker Carlson. A lot of people were screaming good job as he was handling that reporter. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section of this whole thing. I know most people listening to this don't think Tucker has any responsibility for any hate crimes that have happened that have been inspired by the replacement theory. And honestly, when you say inspired by the replacement theory, what you're really saying is someone, whether it's white or black, because a black person could also do this type of thing and be in the exact same mindset as a white person that's afraid of being replaced. You know, what you're really saying is someone who's unheard by their government and is very fearful of what's going on in terms of all the people pouring into the country, and then they do something completely demented and absolutely horrible. That's what she's really saying. And Tucker somehow should feel some kind of responsibility for that. Absolutely ridiculous. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Australia, just a little bit worse than America when it comes to the media. At least an American journalist that was trying to get Tucker would have stopped like a quarter of the way through and would have been like, you know what? I'm just going to write a story about how I was right and you were wrong. I'm out, guys. All right. Have a good day, everybody. That's what they would have done. God bless her. Alice Wong, I believe. Either way, I'm sure she's laying low for the next little while. Just out of not out of fear, just out of straight up embarrassment. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Some people are telling me they got to search for this show. Turn on the notifications. It'll help a whole bunch. Helps the channel tremendously. Other than that, I'm out.